Welcome to Island Health VIP, Care for Maui, with your hosts Jeff and Josette. We care for the island, we care for the people, and promote that care to foster a worldwide community of cultural consciousness and tolerance. We discuss mental health as well as local and cultural topics.
So welcome everybody, another show at Island Health at KAOI, and we are here with Dr. B. It's Dr. Bongard, but she wants to be called Dr. B. What's behind that, Dr. B? I like that.
Oh, thank you. Well, I think a couple things. Number one, Bongard is a mouthful. But secondly, I want people to just be comfortable so they can share their innermost thoughts and not be concerned about there's a doctor here that I need to, be polite and whatever else. No, let's just dig right in. And, we're here to support you and I want you to feel comfortable. And so that's why most people just call me Dr. B.
I think that's really nice of you because when you started to share that, I was thinking, when you feel traumatic, you're going through trauma, the last thing your brain can do is remember words. I mean, that part of the brain shuts down. And even having you on the show today and looking at the spelling of Dr. Bongard, I was like, am I saying that right? Is it God? Is it, French? Is it, and so that's really, you did too, Joe? That's so funny, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. And, everybody says Josette, Josette, Jose, Josetti. And you know what? I just go by all of them. Just don't call me late for dinner, right? Call me whatever. So, you want to tell us a little bit about what you do, Dr. B?
Yeah,
Thank you. I'm sorry, Jeff, go ahead.
Maui Cancer Resources is a great organization that you're part of. So tell us more about that.
Thank you. Yes. So I retired as the chief of integrative medicine from, at that time, it was Carolina's Health Center Northeast. It's been subsequently purchased by Atrium and then somebody else and but back then, I took a fellowship. I'm an internist, board certified internist, and I took a fellowship in integrative medicine with Dr. Andrew Weil because I wanted to really understand the patient who has the problem, because that significantly influences the outcome. Mm-hmm. And so I actually, at that time, we got a brand new CEO at Northeast, and she wanted to create 8 different service lines. So I had already started working on the integrative medicine service line with the current administration, and she made us one of the 8 service lines, standing toe to toe with surgery, pediatrics, OBGYN, it's medicine, etc. So cardiology. So at any rate, we developed a very robust program, including an integrative medicine clinic where you got the best of both worlds, complementary, all evidence-based. Okay?
That's beautiful,
Nothing
Dr.
alternative.
Absolutely. Nothing alternative. Well, let's stop there for just a moment because you are just, I'm just sitting here in awe. And I know Jeff said something just a second ago. We love Dr. Wall. I cannot believe that. Did you actually work with him yourself?
Dr. Wall, the endocrinologist at Northeast?
Dr.
Why? Are you talking about Weil?
Yeah.
Andy Weil. Yeah, I took the fellowship from 2003
I'm from Texas,
to 2005. Huh?
I said, I'm from Texas, and it was funny when you were talking about, was it North Carolina or South Carolina? You kind of had your little accent come out, too. So,
yeah.
So you
can't
did
take
work
the South out of the girl, can you?
No, you can't.
But at any rate, the beauty of that, quite honestly, is that Hawaii the culture here is very similar to what we grew up with in the South in the way of community engagement, looking after your neighbors, learning how to really communicate, and supporting each other. And so I think there's such overlap here with Hawaiian culture and true aloha. Okay.
Yes.
And so to me, I feel blessed to be here and to be serving our community. But back to Maui Cancer Resources. So, as the chief of integrative medicine, I had developed a non narcotic pain control service and a consult service, integrative chaplain program, integrative volunteers, holistic nursing. And we had a very, very robust program that really kept the spirit in medicine, really looked at that individual. If someone was anxious, we had different ways of dealing with that, in
Mhm.
addition to delivering top flight healthcare. So with that
Can you
template,
give us a couple ways that you would handle anxiety, at that time?
yes, absolutely. So basically, I'm also trained in hypnosis. I was the
Oh, good
president for the
stuff.
American Society
Yes,
of
yes.
Clinical Hypnosis in this country. And
Wow.
so uh, I would use all hypnosis is self hypnosis, but I would help people explore the real root of their fears. And then once you acknowledge it and identify it, then you can reframe it, because then was them, now is me.
That's great.
It's interesting.
And
Yeah.
so we continue that work here in Hawaii. So once you get to the root of the anxiety, where people don't feel safe or where it uncovers old trauma, then you go ahead and dive in and help the patient not have to keep that for the rest of their life and have it resurfacing.
Island Health, Care for Maui, will be back after these messages from our sponsors.
At Island Health, healing is more than care. It's connection. From therapy to retreat, we guide you back to balance, rooted in nature and community. Come home to yourself. Call us at 808-336-2611 or visit us online at islandhealth.vip.
Welcome back to Island Health, Care for Maui.
You really started with the integrative approach several years ago. What year was that?
I think, let's see, I did the fellowship in 2003, but I became very, very interested in, again, why the patient became ill. What
Yes.
was it? Okay. Because disease
Right.
is really the disease, because it changes the function of the immune system, and your lifestyle doesn't become so healthy because you're not really being your authentic person and being
Yeah.
at home with yourself.
We did a study with the late Dr. Bob Belhansky, and he helped with APA and a lot of different things along those lines. And one of the things that he did was he wanted to do the HUDAS 12 as part of the measurement of what we were doing. I know, I thought the same thing. Like, why are we looking at the body? And this was, gosh, it wasn't 2004, but it was probably 2016, 2017. I can't even remember. I'll have to look
Yeah.
at the study, but we've been together a long time, right? But
Yes.
the point of it is, it was amazing that, having the people go through, the treatment actually improved their physical health. And, it's kind of new to a lot of people in the field, even though integrative health is not new. It's been around forever.
Right. So Dr. Weil was one of the forerunners. I had met him and heard some of his lectures. He is in Arizona, of course.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
And
and he
then,
started that, I think, in 1994, Jeff.
right.
He came to the university and then became part of the Department of Medicine. He and Dr. Victoria Mays, and they were the ones that basically launched the predication of the importance of having a fellowship to really understand lifestyle medicine. This was even before lifestyle medicine was its own
thing.
sort of specialty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I recall Dr. Weil going back to Timothy Leary. Wasn't he associated with Timothy Leary?
I think briefly, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, Andy always had an open mind
60s.
and was always interested in healing. And, psychoactive, when you say Timothy Leary, you think psychoactive drugs. And, it certainly had its heyday and it certainly had its fall. And now it's back just in a different fashion, right?
Right.
Now they're thinking of
With
psychoactive
ketamine
drugs.
and then the other actually
Yeah.
looking at how psychoactive drugs can actually interrupt major depression.
Yes, that's what I'm studying
When
on. Yes.
particularly if there have been treatment failures with the usual SSRIs, SNRIs, etc., usual medications, and even CBT. Now psychoactive drugs are back on the horizon. So, it's always smart to keep a open mind, but make it evidence-based,
Right.
right?
Yeah. And that's what we did with our deep session, because you can get some similar, if not, who knows, because we haven't done an evidence-based study with ketamine yet, but that's on our plan. But we have like an 82% clinical reliable change index just with the treatment that we do. And there's absolutely no drugs included, because some people just don't want to do that, but others do, And so what's nice is there's, so many different treatments. Is that kind of what you were talking about, Dr. B, is like listening to the patient and figuring out what's best for them? Or is it a similar practice treatment
Well,
plan
first of
for
all, tell
most?
me what you do, and then I'll know if it's similar or not.
Oh, so what we do is a lot of different things, but the treatment that I was talking about is it's called the deep integrative treatment, and what it does is it helps balance the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system, and by doing that, the body is able to process. So it doesn't just keep the score; it's able to process, integrate, and it's not talk therapy. And so a lot of times for people to get a similar type of experience, they need to have an injection or however they're, being using the what is it called? I always call it ketamine, but psychoactive. I was like psychoeducation. That's not right. So anyway, yeah, it's without the drug. And so we try to do as many natural. I'm up here on 17 right now. And the reason I have one of my hats on is I just had PRP in my head. And so, for hair growth, and, I just had it in my hip, my head, my back, my knee, so we do a lot of different things, for individuals, but we don't work and treat cancer. And that's why we brought you on the show, is because that is such a scary thing. I love that, if somebody's having anxiety, and I think sometimes it's the family that's having even more anxiety than the patient, so the fact that you do some of these things. So we really want to turn it back over to you and what you do.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, very, very similar. I agree with you that the healing process occurs in the parasympathetic state. And being able to process trauma, you basically have to dissociate them from, or they have to be able to step back and see it differently. And that's the work in trauma therapy right now. Actually, that's what they use with armed forces. And so Dr. Courtney Armstrong was one of the people who I really admire her work, and then Peter Levine and, some others as well. But if you can get them suspended, and out of the emotional trauma and suspended, and be able to reframe it and see it different, and you wait 15, 20 minutes, there's actual new neural pathways that are created while the other ones become pruned. So then you have less and less response to those old traumatic memories because you're actually seeing them differently. So
Absolutely.
I've done a lot of work with patients who have had terrible childhoods.
Island Health, Care for Maui, will be back after these messages from our sponsors.
Wellness is more than what's covered by healthcare. It's the warmth of a safe place to sleep, the comfort of a meal that nourishes, the peace of knowing you're not alone. At Renew Well, we help people find wellness in the spaces traditional care can't reach, providing support for nutrition, fitness, housing, and the simple human needs that restore dignity and hope. Because healing doesn't end when the treatment does. It continues in the kitchen, the home, the community, anywhere someone is rebuilding their life and learning how to live again. Together, we're closing the gap between health and healing. Visit renewwellinc.org to learn how you can help restore balance and restore lives. Renew Well, because wellness is more than treatment. It's the foundation to thrive. To learn more, find us at renewwellinc.org.
At Island Health, healing is more than care. It's connection. From therapy to retreat, we guide you back to balance, rooted in nature and community. Come home to yourself. Call us at 808-336-2611 or visit us online at islandhealth.vip.
Welcome back to Island Health, Care for Maui.
Because she was
Yeah.
talking about, with patients having terrible childhoods. And where we come in and kind of support exactly what you're saying is we work a lot with social determinants of health. And, they get that learned behavior, like, they identify with that as it being who they are when it's really not.
That's exactly right. So
Yeah.
what we do is we bring them back to who they truly are. And then we help them. The psychological term is called ego strengthening, but really it is giving them a whole powerful visualization of who are feeling. It can't just, it's words. The subconscious mind doesn't work in words.
No,
It
it doesn't.
works in thoughts and feelings and the five senses. Okay. And so what we do is this is called psycho-oncology. And so we will find out where they're not safe. And then I even have them when I do mindfulness training, we have that twice a year, a 4-session course.
Beautiful.
And so they'll list all their traumas, no details, just the age that it occurred if they can remember, and list them all down and the emotions that they experienced from that trauma. And then you get a repetitive pattern, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because there is a lot of compulsive recreation of trauma with people's choices until you help them understand where they're stuck, and then they don't do that anymore. It's just so much fun and so satisfying to see people who have had trauma for 60 more years all of a sudden now they don't, or they can identify when it an old trigger that they thought they dealt with comes up again, but now they're able to objectify it, understand it, and reframe it and move forward. So to me, it's just powerful work that you guys do, that we do. And we know that if you have a more parasympathetic tone, we know that the immune system works better, not just processing, feelings and thoughts and all these things that we experience every day, but there's physical changes that happen when you're in a parasympathetic state versus a sympathetic state. Like, for instance, sleep. Okay? Sleep is critical, but terrible sleep, light sleep, is not helpful at all. But if you get into REM sleep, when you really begin to start processing these things, and then deep sleep, which is your most, that's when the brain cleans itself, right? The
I
glymphatic
love
system,
sleep.
right?
Yes.
And so this is when the brain, so it's not just only thoughts and feelings. I tell people jokingly that the only way that you can separate the mind from the body is a guillotine,
Mm-hmm. That's good.
because it's integrally tied every second. Like Candace Pert said, everything is talking to everything else. The gut's talking to the brain's talking to the gut, the heart's talking to everybody else. And it's all in the way of, you know, not only electromagnetic signals and the energy field of the cell and such like that, but in neurotransmitters and how DNA is read, and or you could get with a lot of poor dietary habits and severe stress and such like that, you have an increased risk of cancer, right? Is not only the immune system
Absolutely.
is not
Yeah.
seeing it, but you're getting the damage that the cells can go undergo with all our daily lives as we have them now. The immune system can't target it effectively. So by getting them into that deep state of relaxation and getting a high fiber diet so that can change the bacterial flora to one that supports the mucous membranes, where like 75% of your immune system is in those Peyer's patches which line the gut. Well, there's just crosstalk, constant crosstalk there. And so we don't teach just one thing, but we educate people on how they can help themselves. And this is all science based. I can give them article after article, and it's not from a remote journal, and it's not just animal studies. It's data, human data and studies, Cochrane studies
Yeah. So
that look at
important.
Cochrane reviews of multiple studies across time to distill out what's truly evidence-based and not. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
It makes 100% sense, and that was some of the stuff that Dr. Bob did, with our preliminary investigation, and then Dr. Navarro, she does a lot of those things too, and we're starting even more evidence-based studies. We're just in the process of interviewing for IRBs because we're not going to do it through, a hospital or a college. But no, I'm right 100% with you. I'm excited to hear, that you have such an integrative approach there. And so some of the modalities, like what are you doing? Like I understand that you're doing, some of the hypnosis and you're doing some mindfulness. What other techniques do you guys provide there to help with that whole
Well,
body approach?
thank you. So, for instance, in our fellowship, I was trained in at the Tucson Osteopathic Foundation. We had courses there. So, for instance, when someone has had a mastectomy, and to be able to get to that, the arm is stretched way back here and the muscles get tight. So we can show them how to release those muscles so they're not stiff and in chronic pain. Or if they have lymphedema, we teach them lymphatic massage. We had aromatherapy that has anti-inflammatory action that they can add to that. Same with neuropathy. Neuropathy is very, very difficult to treat. We don't have great treatment that doesn't affect the central nervous system, like you use gabapentin or Lyrica, such like that. You can get cognitively impaired. However, we teach them if they massage their hands and feet, they get increased circulation, and therefore you get more rapid healing of the nerves that have been affected. We also did a pilot study on chemo-related cognitive impairment. So over 1 million people get chemotherapy every year. And it's not just chemotherapy. It could be hormonal therapy, hormonal blocker therapy. It could be immunotherapy, whatever. But the problem is that people get into a state of inflammation and neural inflammation.
Yes.
And so their cognitive domains of function are reduced. Not across the board all the time, but we do have some that are. So I became very interested in that, particularly with COVID, because people got neural inflammation from COVID. And I said, what's going on? So I started doing some research on that, and figured that my hypothesis, is this mitochondrial dysfunction from the inflammation? It turns out I was right. And so we put together 2 supplements, one that went across the blood, will both go across the blood-brain barrier, and had a 50% of all the study cohort had a major improvement in cognitive function in 2 weeks.
Island Health, Care for Maui, will be back after these messages from our sponsors.
At Island Health, healing is more than care. It's connection. From therapy to retreat, we guide you back to balance, rooted in nature and community. Come home to yourself. Call us at 808-336-2611 or visit us online at islandhealth.vip.
Welcome back to Island Health, Care for Maui.
Then, so they were their own controls. So we gave them the 2 supplements, and then they had to keep, they had to do the Alzheimer 8 dementia tests from the American Neurologic Association. And we just changed that instead of yes, no, maybe. We changed it to a 1 through 5 scale so that we could record how much improvement there was. And so, because the half-life of these 2 supplements is 33 hours, within 3 days, 4 days, people were getting an improvement. And they were getting improvement in not only cognition, but fatigue. So what is the energy generator for the cell? The mitochondria. And so research shows that both CoQ10 and acetyl-L-carnitine repair mitochondrial function. One the cell wall, the other the respiratory chain in the mitochondria. So fast forward, what was happening is that they were thinking better and doing better, less anxious, more energy. And then we stopped, and the numbers fell, because you're not going to repair mitochondria in 2 weeks. All right. All we want to do was show an effect, and it did. And so, but one of them didn't. So I called this lady and I said, this is odd. You were supposed to stop the medicine, and I see your scores are are improving. And she said, Dr. B, I didn't want to stop it. I was able to go back to work. I was able to remember names.
Right.
And I couldn't stop it, Dr. B. I said, no problem. This is why it's a pilot study.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, this is so beautiful that you say that, because I was going to ask you, when you started to do that, because I kept getting COVID one year over and over and over. And then, at my age, I had already gone through menopause, and I had lost my mom. So I had a whole bunch of grief, and then they had put me on a Wellbutrin. And so just getting off of that, I just never was myself. And I'm like, think this is menopause, it just seems like it was, the COVID and the Wellbutrin, and for me anyway. I ended up doing like NAD. Have you heard of that? And I was wondering, when you were giving these 2 supplements, were you doing it intravenously, just oral? Wow. That's fantastic. Because when you were talking about, the gut and all of that barriers, because a lot of people, when they have, that cognitive delay, it's also related to the gut, and they're not able to digest. So I was just wondering if you had ever done any injections or IVs. You've just always had amazing results orally.
Well, I mean, this again, thank you. This is just a very small study I did with the professor emeritus at the John Burns Medical School, Dr. D. Wolf Miller. He's published 75 times in Lancet. And so I wanted to make sure that this would be as scientific as possible. So when there was interest in it at the Society for Integrative Oncology, which I belong to, and so I did a poster presentation in 2024, trying to get hopefully interest from a company or an R21 to be able to get funding to do this. But those were research money is just very, very tied up. And because I don't belong to a university, I'm here on Maui, right? I don't have a university here. So at any rate, I did present it to U of H, but they didn't have any funding at that time, although they really liked the study. They thought it was highly intriguing. So, but it did come out of COVID because actually what happened was that myself and our treasurer both got COVID at the same time as God and everybody did when it first came around the first time. And I said,
Hmm.
whoa, I'm impaired. Man, I'm just not thinking quite as sharply as I was. So that's when I really did a big literature search to try and find that what would help the neural inflammation. And this is how it came up. So,
Interesting.
It's so interesting because I knew that I had inflammation, and I have a naturopathic doctor here that I've been able to work with the last year, and it's just really changed my life, but I've never heard of neural inflammation. You just don't really hear people talking about that.
well, I mean, neural
But
inflammation, you get neural inflammation with I mean, Alzheimer's is a product of neural inflammation, right?
yeah,
So, you know, at any rate, getting back to just looking at the person as a whole, I mean, we sort of got sidetracked on my interest in research. But having
which
said
we
that,
love.
a caveat, I was talking with a group of oncologists last night because, I mean, it's a very common symptom. 65 to 75% of all people get it. Not all of them keep it, but anybody who's had particularly the
Yeah.
cisplatin, that group of agents, they have not only peripheral neuropathy, but they can get central so peripheral neural inflammation, but they can also get central neural inflammation. All right, if you look at it in just broad terms. So
I love
it's
talking with
really
you.
interesting work.
Island Health, Care for Maui, will be back after these messages from our sponsors.
At Island Health, healing is more than care. It's connection. From therapy to retreat, we guide you back to balance, rooted in nature and community. Come home to yourself. Call us at 808-336-2611 or visit us online at islandhealth.vip.
Welcome back to Island Health, Care for Maui.
You mentioned aromatherapy for inflammation. What kind of scents would be used for that? That doesn't seem to be something I've heard of before.
Okay, so to your point, there are books by Valerie Werwood, and she actually took protocols out of St. Mary's Hospital in London. And so we looked at their formulas and tested some of their formulas, like for instance, cedar is one. You use black pepper because black pepper helps the compound to penetrate, just like when you use black pepper and turmeric, right? But we don't obviously use turmeric on the skin. But at any rate, we have compounds like the one for neuropathy, I think it has lavender, which is anti-inflammatory. It has cedarwood, and as long as they're not allergic to that, and it has wintergreen, black pepper, and I said lavender. Yeah, I think that's the compound. I'd have to go back. I have them all listed. Then for hair growth, so when people get alopecia from the chemotherapy, because chemo hits rapidly dividing cells and people shed their hair, I have a mixture that works very, 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 very well. They massage it into the scalp and once or twice a day, and the hair grows back twice as fast. Still
Oh,
slow,
beautiful.
still slow. I mean, right, it's an eighth of an inch a month. That's the usual hair follicle rate, but it's amazing, and it stops the scalp itch and discomfort. So
That's
those
so
are some of the ways. The other ways, a lot of times I'll use it in hospital consults. We make aromatherapy in a small container and then have them pop open the lid.
nice.
And then as this stimulates the parasympathetic state, and they get into a state of relaxation, and then I begin the hypnotherapy. but they could then turn around and use this for the rest of their hospitalization when they're anxious, because they've already had the experience of being able to relax and not tune into everything else, but just go down inside themselves and relax. So those are some of the ways. So manual manipulation. Back in my clinic in North Carolina, I also had an acupuncturist
Yes.
and a massage therapist. So I had multiple modalities which to draw from to affect the healing change, because a lot of times pain is just musculoskeletal. And, if you can get the body back in alignment, so to speak, then the muscles aren't stretched one way or the other and go into spasm. And then you can reduce pain without medication.
So important. Now, do you only are all of your clients suffering from cancer, or do you work with other groups too?
No, the Maui Cancer Resources is our nonprofit. We're a
Okay.
nonprofit. And so we get referrals from oncologists, we get referrals from physical therapists, we get referrals out of the community. And then what I do is, when I do the consultation, I do a personalized wellness consultation. I go through all their supplements and say, oops, did you know that this could be a problem? It affects the clearance of your chemotherapy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's for an example. And or somebody thought that this would help them with their breast cancer, and actually it stimulated the estrogen receptors.
Mm,
Not a great thing when you're HR positive,
right.
hormone receptor positive. So I go through and look at all of those. I use Memorial Sloan Kettering's integrated medicine website. They have a fabulous library there that anyone can use to look at supplements. I use WebMD. There's another one called Open Evidence. I don't know if you guys use that one. It's for medical professionals, and it basically plumbs all the research at the National Library of Congress,
Oh,
PubMed.
I love that. I'll have
Hmm
to talk with our
It's
docs
the
and
app
see.
called Open Evidence, and so
Thank you.
you can get um, a cross look at multiple studies, and it distills out. It's an AI thing. It distills out what you need to know.
Hmm. It's beautiful.
Interesting. So would you give us your contact information for anybody who's interested?
Oh, thank you. Yes, we are Maui Cancer Resources, and I see people by Zoom, telephone. I make home visits for
Good.
people who just have an issue and they can't get there. And I have an office in Kula. But our number is 808-6655, and then my fax is 808-707-3160. So I get faxes from the oncologists and other people for consults, but then sometimes they'll just get a phone call, and then our people can also reach us on the website. They can make a personalized consultation. It's on the homepage. Up at the top, it says medical consults, but we also have other programs. We have Hikes for Healing. We are starting a really cool program. We just got a 15,000 donation from a grateful patient, and we're doing Compassion for Chemo. And so we're going to be able to partner with a restaurant in Kihei and provide 10 meals for patients undergoing chemo
Oh, that's
to get
beautiful.
them through that god awful time when they don't feel like cooking, they can't eat. And so this way I know their nutrition they won't go into as much of a negative nitrogen balance and be able to heal faster.
Island Health, Care for Maui will be back after these messages from our sponsors.
Welcome to Island Health by Go Deep Care for Maui. We offer a wide range of services from counseling, case management, and life coaching. We also offer deep sessions that can help with traumatic life events, and IOP and group classes, behavioral health retreats, and community unity events. Contact us today at islandhealth.vip or call us at 808-336-2611.
Welcome back to Island Health, Care for Maui.
If any of our listeners would like to donate for that cause, I mean, how do they go about doing that?
Yes,
Oh my
what
gosh.
is
So this would be huge. Thank you. And we would love to have matching funds or any kind of
Yeah.
donations because this will serve 66 cancer patients. Okay, those 10 meals and 10 meals per patient. So they can either go to the website and donate there. They can go online at info at Maui Cancer Resources. And Cassie, who's our administrative assistant, will give them all the information and it can send it. This one, we were blessed because they sent a check. So, you don't have the 4% taken out of it, right? So we just plow it back into patient care is what I'm saying.
Yes,
So
of
any
course.
dollars we get, hell, we plow it back in. So we also, because there's no cancer surveillance information that's generalized, at least in Hawaii, we created a cancer journey guide.
Nice.
And so it answers questions about diagnosis. What is the diagnosis? What is cancer? What the heck is a biopsy? What do I do with all of this? And so we go through each of those sections and give them questions to ask to help them navigate. And they can have an appointment with me and I can go over everything that they don't understand the way of labs and biopsies and that kind of thing. And then I give them questions so that they can ask their oncologist so they're not just stunned.
Mhm.
And they can really make good use of their oncology visit. And so we have another section on nutrition, another section on self-healing, when to call the doctor, end of life discussions, your legacy. So that's in the Cancer Journey Guide. And we got a grant from Papa'ololokahi because our heart was going to, oh my God, how do I get it to the Pacific Islanders? How do I get it to these people where English is not their first language? Or even if they have a rudimentary understanding of English, they don't have a medical understanding. So with the grant from Papa, we plowed it back in, and now we just finished translating it in Tongan, and we're doing Olelo and Tagalog. And
I love that.
then we have angels on assignment who are our volunteers. And so one of our angels on assignment speaks fluent Spanish, and she's an oncology nurse. So she is going to be doing, as her gift, the translation into Spanish.
Oh,
So
that's
then we can take it and get it into the pockets that are otherwise isolated socioeconomically. And
Mhm.
we're working with the churches to set up that model to have a connector.
That's fantastic. I was just thinking with your nonprofit, have you ever been funded at all by Hawaii Foundation?
The White Community Foundation,
Yes.
yes, we
Okay,
did.
good.
We got a grant, and so that brings me up. Thank you for that. So, so they blessed us with some funding to actually run our programs. But in addition to that, we are developing. Again, anytime you guys give us money, man, we plow it right back into patient services. So what we created out of that and the Makana Foundation and Atherton Foundation, we plowed that back into a camp for cancer recovery. So it's a 3-day camp at Camp Olawalu.
Oh, how
And
fun.
yeah, so Steve Grimes is of the luthier fame. who makes guitars for
Yes.
Willie Nelson, and I mean, he's just a fabulous guy. And so he's coming to play on Saturday night at the campfire.
Oh, I wish I was there.
And then we have another guy who's a chef in Hana who wants to give back. And so he's going to be cooking amazing things, teaching people how to use Okinawan sweet potatoes, kombucha, and, really healthy foods that people just look at the grocery store and go, oh, I'm not doing that. And then I teach cancer healing kitchens.
What's
So I have
that?
15 come to my house. And then we give them in teams, we give them recipes, and everybody cooks it and enjoys it. And they learn how to prepare, read a recipe, prepare food. And this last one was called Stretching the Dollar. Because you
Nice.
know what the rate of food insecurity is for Maui as of
It is
yesterday?
insane. What?
41%.
Wow. Wow.
And so you can imagine the toll that cancer takes financially and personally. Some people have to give up their jobs. So this is one of the reasons why I thank God we got that $15,000 grant for Compassion for Chemo. But the Cancer Healing Kitchen from these other grants is kept our Cancer Healing Kitchen rolling. So we teach them how to cook. We teach them how to stretch the dollar, which was our last one, April the 4th. Yeah, April the 4th. And so each team had a different protein. And then not only did they do the recipe for that protein, but then they had to write down 5 other ways that you could use that protein.
Nice.
So, it really stimulates people who are just foraging to really have fun in the kitchen.
It is,
And I
yeah.
do that with Chef Dan Bader. I'd like to give him big kudos. He's my partner in crime. It's like Julia Child's gone bad. He keeps us all straight, and we just have a fun time. But everybody learns and learns tips in cooking and preparing food and reading recipes and such like that. So it really
How
gives them a
often do
leg
you
up.
do those, Dr. B?
Huh?
How often do you
Oh,
have your
quarterly.
healing kitchens?
Quarterly. So we
Sounds like
do we
so
do
much fun.
quarterly workshops for we call them day treats, and that's
Uh-huh.
on self-care and could be art therapy. Last one was music therapy, how to get into the parasympathetic state
Yes, yes.
through music, right?
So
And
important.
yoga, yoga nidra we would teach, whatever it is. Um, and so those are 4 times. The day treats are 4 times a year. The cancer healing kitchens are 4 times a year. The mindfulness training is twice a year. Hikes for healing, we just started because one of our angels on assignment had stage 4 cancer, and she's a forest ranger.
Oh, wow.
And so she's better now. And so she's going to be leading hikes for healing at Hosmer's Grove,
Very nice.
where you can
That
really
is
do like forest bathing, get really deep, deep, relax, just all your senses, let it fill it up with the healing energy of the earth and hearing the birds and the crunch of the pine needles under your feet. So, and that's to encourage people to how important it is. How do you feel after that? We'll reproduce it. Nature is everywhere.
yes. Yeah, and Maui is so healing. It's so fantastic to go there, for any type of healing. I mean, every time I'm there, I just, get off the plane and feel the aloha. And, sometimes it sounds kind of bad. And some people think, oh my God, you're so spoiled. It's like, because I get such, working, working, working over here. And I'm like, I don't want to leave. But then when I go there, everything just kind of stops. And how many clients do you like say we refer people over to you, Dr. B, how soon could they get in to see you? I mean, is there a waiting list? Do you take insurance?
So if you have something urgent, Josie, just text me, okay? And
Oh,
I'll give you my
fantastic.
personal cell phone. But if you just go in through info at Maui Cancer Resources, we help you. You can get an appointment right on the webpage.
Island Health, Care for Maui, will be back after these messages from our sponsors.
Wellness is more than what's covered by healthcare. It's the warmth of a safe place to sleep, the comfort of a meal that nourishes, the peace of knowing you're not alone. At Renew Well, we help people find wellness in the spaces traditional care can't reach, providing support for nutrition, fitness, housing, and the simple human needs that restore dignity and hope. Because healing doesn't end when the treatment does. It continues in the kitchen, the home, the community, anywhere someone is rebuilding their life and learning how to live again. Together, we're closing the gap between health and healing. Visit renewwellinc.org to learn how you can help restore balance and restore lives. Renew Well, because wellness is more than treatment. It's the foundation to thrive. To learn more, find us at renewwellinc.org.
Welcome back to Island Health, Care for Maui.
And
Nice.
yeah. And, if people can donate, great. If they can't donate, it's okay. That's
Yes,
what we call our kuleana.
is there any charge for your services?
That's what she was
No,
just saying.
so
I mean, that's amazing.
so if they can donate, that's great. If they can't, I see them anyway. We take care of them anyway. We charge nothing for our workshops. For the Cancer Healing Kitchen, we charge nothing. So that's why so anybody who wants to support this work, that's why I said we'll just plow it right back into programs that make a difference.
We'll have to think of some things, we do a lot of different. I'm ADD, so I do a lot of fun things, It's like I have to keep it going. But when you were saying all this, I was thinking, wow, I would like to get a group of girlfriends and come over and have the healing kitchen and then, like train one, give one. Do you know what I
Come
mean?
on.
Like
Happy to
exactly.
teach you. And we'll have a blast. We have little aprons that it says, it used to be Cancer Fighting Kitchen. We X'd out fighting and we write Cancer Healing Kitchen
I
on it.
like that.
A little chef's hat and the whole 9 yards. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, if you wanted to bring a group over, I would be more than happy to teach. I teach people how to bake bread. I can teach them how to make homemade pasta. And then we talk about the anti-inflammatory diet, and how to get a really good, balanced, healthy diet and a healthy gut.
That healthy gut is something else. That's what, I had so many elements, like I was saying earlier, hit me all at one time. And now, I'm really working on healing that gut. And you realize how important food is. And then Jeff, I don't know if you want to share anything about, your journey and food and those things. Also, is it both men and women that come to you, or is it just mostly women? Is it
Oh, yeah. No, I love our men. I love our men. And, and most of the guys, most of the people in the head and neck clinic, we have the Zoom. I didn't even mention those. So every Thursday we have a survivorship Zoom run by
Nice.
a life coach. And then now we're starting to branch off into like the head and neck group because they have a way different journey. And then when I am able to I'm training someone to do breast cancer, just straight breast cancer. But I'm looking over Jeff's head and I see the paddlers. And I do want to mention the Mana'olana, which are the pink paddlers. I'm one of them. And so they run, their president is on our board. So I want to give Mary Dungans a shout out because paddling is very, very helpful. We'll take people out, even if they can't paddle. We'll have pule on the water, prayer on the water for healing. And it's just a great community. But But we also have what's called a Waves of Hope scholarship. So because insurance companies do not pay for acupuncture, massage therapy, or they don't pay much, we can I can refer patients to Waves. So for instance, we particularly our head and neck patients, I found that by referring them to acupuncture, their dysphagia improves, their taste improves, swallowing, the whole 9 yards. And so when I get a head and neck patient, I'll particularly send them to the Waves of Hope scholarship so they can get $500 to take it to an acupuncturist, and it makes a radical difference in their recovery. As a matter of fact, one of our head and neck patients I sent there, he was able to get his taste back quickly. Two, I gave him the acetyl L-carnitine and CoQ10, and now he's playing 18 holes of golf.
That is amazing.
So,
I know I
it's
started
a
taking
whole person, whole
CoQ10.
body approach is what I'm saying to you. And so we're building a cancer community. And hopefully one day I don't know, Mr. Bezos, and Lauren Sanchez Bezos, if you're listening, I would love to create a cancer support center. We do not have one on this island. And so all these programs, oh, by the way, are meant as the basic infrastructure for when we're able to do that. And so we work with other Pacific Cancer Foundation. We work with You versus Cancer, and all of us try and collaborate. We call ourselves the Maui Nui Cancer Hui.
Oh, I love that. Totally love that. Well, one of the things that I want to, say is you really are that. I mean, you are doing that. You might not have the title of that, but that's what like you said, you're totally doing. And I know it's scary and everything else. Jeff, did you want to share anything about your journey or anything along the lines and your thoughts about, I mean, this is a wonderful thing, right? To be able to know what Dr. B is doing.
Well, I think we're losing oncologists on Maui now. So, like one oncologist is retiring.
Well, she actually was on medical. I know who you're talking about, and she's on
She's
medical
on medical
leave,
leave.
and she's going to be coming back in June. And then we
That's
have
good.
the Hawaii Cancer Care who's flying over from Oahu,
They
and
just
that's who I
opened
met
up
with
their.
last night to explain all these programs and say, this is here to support you. They said, well, we don't have anything like this in Oahu. I said, it's okay, because this is what really belongs in a cancer center,
Mm-hmm.
right? We
But
need
I've seen.
medical navigation. So back in North Carolina, we had nurses. I'm it here.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I've
And that's
seen.
fine. But we're holding this space to have this program to where we can have the same thing that you would get at Scripps, or the same thing you get at the Hutch, or the same thing you get at, wherever, MD Anderson, for cancer supportive care.
Is any of it covered by insurance that you do, or is it really is all donation, it sounds like, or
Well,
cash pay?
it's right now it's donations and grants. So we started out as, we got a $40,000 grant in 2000 and end of 16, early 17. And that's when we started Maui Cancer Wellness Retreats. And we started doing just yearly retreats. And we realized that we take people out of their environment and we feed them and we put them in community, and it's like water on a dying plant. It's like they just really come to life. They
Yeah.
get it, and they're able to move forward. But that was only once a year, and then COVID came, and then I actually did a qualitative research piece, getting 17 cancer patients together to find the pukas means holes in the system. And so where are those pukas? And then from that, we changed our business name to Maui Cancer Resources, because we just kept building and building and building and building. So we're not just Maui Cancer Wellness Retreats. So I've just got to finish getting that through the IRS, which we've been working on since November. They're slow. Had a few things, I guess, on their plate. So once we get that done, I guess we could, apply for insurance and such. But for right now, nope. We just do what we do and take care of our folk, our Ohana here.
Yes.
Island Health, Care for Maui, will be back after these messages from our sponsors.
At Island Health, healing is more than care. It's connection. From therapy to retreat, we guide you back to balance, rooted in nature and community. Come home to yourself. Call us at 808-336-2611 or visit us online at islandhealth.vip.
Welcome back to Island Health, Care for Maui.
Anything that you wanted to add, Jeff?
Well, it's just unfortunate. I've seen 2 oncologists on Maui, and nobody's ever suggested your organization. So it doesn't seem that they're spreading the word, even though it's a great organization. So I'm glad to have you on the show and hear about this and spread the word.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. And
Well, one of the
so,
things I was thinking
but
about too.
we get referrals from all over the place, including the oncologist. Not so much Kaiser, because Kaiser's a little bit more of a closed system, right? But yet, I
You
wind up
think?
seeing their patients.
Yeah.
So,
Well, let me just say, we know one of the best acupuncturists out there. I mean, he is amazing. And so I'm thinking about Aaron. I don't know if, I mean, that might be, something a great referral for you. And I
Maybe he
love
already works with you, because he does like to volunteer. It's Aaron Goldstein, and he
yeah.
works with Maui Healers Hui. So he does like to volunteer to do his acupuncture.
Yeah, if you'll shoot me his information, I'd like to talk to him, because I'm trying to get a study up through the radiology, the American Radiology was called Astro, I think it is. So a radiologist is very interested in the head and neck acupuncture, because we've been really successful with that. And through the Waves of Hope Scholarship, getting people through there. And I'd like to do a formal study. There's only 2 studies that I've found in the literature, but none of them address taste. And so I asked our local acupuncturist to add that on, because they're not going to eat if they can't taste, if everything tastes horrible, right? And so we've had success with that. And so I'd like to be able to get a formal study with good acupuncturists. I've got 2 now, but I didn't know about Aaron, so I'd love to talk with him.
He's amazing. He has this machine too, and I love it. And he can test the different meridians and then really track. And so, here we have an acupuncturist, but they're not going to, she's not going to go to Hawaii. I mean, I'm sure she'd like to, but we're not going to send her over there. But and it's cool, having the acupuncture. But I love the machine that he can test to see where you're at, and it's just amazing to me.
Well, he is the only acupuncturist on Maui that does 5-element acupuncture, so it's a little different than standard. He studied 5-element Chinese acupuncture.
Now, I'm familiar with that, because our acupuncturist in North Carolina was one of them was trained in 5 elements, but I think Jill Stevens is also trained in 5-element. And
Yes.
so she's one of the ones that we use in Makawao, and she is brilliant. And the other one we use is, and again, there are some other ones that I have not used, but I just don't know them. These are the ones that I wound up working with the head and neck and with cancer patients. So I'm really open to working with any acupuncturist that is excellent.
Yeah, and then he also has a really wonderful Chinese medicine referral too, right, Jeff? We'll have to get your Chinese doc on
Chinese. I'm sure you know Jeffrey Tice. So he's an acupuncturist. Jeffrey Tice. No, in Wailuku. So he does acupuncture and Chinese herbal medicine.
Was he 808 Maine?
Yeah, next to 808
Yes,
Main.
yes, he is excellent. Yeah, I know who that is now. He is excellent. So it's that kind of thing where if we could get the acupuncture community to be able to, again, I want to make it a study so that I can take it to the insurance companies and say, look, now, this person is off the feeding tube, 3 weeks earlier, and they're gaining weight, and their cancer related fatigue is diminished, and their quality of life is better. And, that's where my scientific brain goes, is to not only substantiate that, but also be able to take it to the insurance companies and say, you actually can spend less money if since that's a driver sometimes, and improve their health.
Yeah, I think it's both because we work with a lot of insurance companies, and then I ended up getting the award you see in the back for Mercy Care for some of the work that we did. But having that
Nice.
evidence-based study is really important. I'll just show you. Over here is the chair. It's a anti-gravity chair, and
Hmm.
so that's the chair that I have everyone get in that before they get the treatment here. I do want to let you know that we do have a nonprofit called Renewwell Inc. And we just registered in Hawaii as well. So this may be some things that we can do. I don't know very few people that are 50 plus that haven't had a battle with cancer, or somebody that they know. Like, you see this on my nose right now. I had to have basal cells removed. And so,
Hmm.
I think it came back. We don't know, doing the biopsy, but it's just out there. I mean, and so I think it's time that we all pull together and collaborate and try to find the funding, because the care that people need, why isn't it covered? Come on. And especially individuals that, don't have the money. It just really warms my heart, Dr. B, to see all of the things that you're doing. And, I think it would be fun to find, you know, who doesn't want to come over to Maui and go see Dr. B, right? And have some delicious food and, relax and learn all these different, Zen techniques and help, buy one, give one. I mean, I think that, you know,
Well, and I love that, and I would be more than happy to help a group that you've got, and I love the idea of paying it forward like this gentleman did when he felt so much better, and now he gave us the funding to do Compassion for Chemo, the meals. Again, it's everybody supporting everybody and making it better, for our fellow man.
and it's so important because, sometimes you just get lost in the shuffle, and you really
Mhm.
have to work hard on that self-care. You
Yeah.
have been quiet this entire time, which is not like Jeff. So what do you have to say? What are your thoughts on this from a personal standpoint?
Well, as the doctor's saying, all these different integrative services are really needed. And luckily they are available on Maui, which I didn't even know, even though I have seen oncologists. So it's good that we're getting this out there.
Yes.
I've lived on Maui, Dr. B, I've lived on Maui for 10 years. I've never even heard your name. So I thought that was unusual because I know most of the medical professionals on the island. So it's good that we have you on. I'm glad we're getting this information. I might be contacting you myself for my things, but
Sure. And I'm
Mhm.
happy. I would be happy to help you or anyone else. And Chris, I think the what you're bringing up, Josie and Jeff, is that collaboration, and making sure everything is top drawer, evidence based, is the key. So by building this up, then we can have powerful programs that can better serve people.
And what's also too, like when you're talking about evidence-based, what's nice is there are so many studies that really support a lot of the care that you're talking about, a lot of the care that we do that is so needed, but we're just not really putting those, piecing those evidence-based, clinical trials and all of that. We're not putting them together and sharing that. Sad. So, but it's nice to see that you are working on that and that we are too. And we will definitely come up with something in the future. And, like Jeff said, he's interested, and I definitely would love to have a healing group. And, there's nothing better than preventative medicine,
Yeah.
and you work on your health ASAP, and so, well, we really thank you. If you ever want to be on our show again, you're more than welcome to, and we'll really do our part to get this out. And if any of our listeners or viewers want to reach out to Dr. B, do you want to give that information one more time?
Yes, thank you. I am Dr. Bongard of Maui Cancer Resources. And all you have to do is just type that into Google, and poof, we're, I think, at the top. And then you can just click on whatever service you want. If you want to come to our workshops, if you want to come to the mindfulness training, if you want to come to Hikes for Healing, if you want to come for the Cancer Healing Kitchen. And as I said, we're now so blessed to be able to start developing the compassion for chemo. So at any rate, what we'll do is be happy to do a personalized consult for you and see if we can't really help you get back to the best you can be, both physically, mentally, spiritually, that one big, bringing it together.
Thank you so much. Aloha. Aloha, Jeff. Aloha, Dr. B.
Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you so
B.
much for having
Cancer
me. I
Resources.
appreciate it.
It's our
For
pleasure.
us.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Island Health VIP Care for Maui. You can learn more at islandhealth.vip. If you would like to be a guest on the show, call Jeff at 808-336-2611. We are located in Kihei at the Rainbow Mall that is at 2439 South Kihei Road, Kihei, Hawaii, 96753. We air each show every Monday at 11 a.m. on KAOI, and you can find us on Instagram at island.health.